I want you to have that level of detail about every moment of every day of your event. And I want you to leave room for magic. And what that means is I want you to have padded things sufficiently. I don't want you to have everything so tight that it doesn't leave room for you to read the room and change things up if need be. How are entrepreneurs like us daring bravely to build a stage, ditch the sweatpants, and step up to the mic? How do we create our own transformative events so we can get our message out into the world in a bigger way that's not only profitable, but it's actually something we can be proud of? That's the question. And the answers are inside this podcast. My name is Sarah Pfeiffer. Welcome to Green Room Central. Remember last week we were talking about the YMCA of the Rockies and ice cream trucks? If you haven't listened to that episode, go back and listen. I think that was episode 37. So it's interesting. We had such a magical time at the YMCA of the Rockies, and it was not in the plan to go there. You heard me right. We had not planned to stay there during our road trip. So we were on the road for about 7 weeks, and at the outset, we planned where we would be for the whole trip, kind of loosely. We knew we were going to spend X amount of time in Minnesota and Wisconsin. We were going to meander through Colorado on their way back, and we'd kind of blocked out where we were going to stay for all those big chunks of time. But the thing is, when we planned our road trip back and outlined all the places we were going to stop along the way in Colorado, it wasn't on our radar to go to the YMCA of the Rockies. But along the way, we heard about it, and it sounded like something that interested us. And so we were already planning to stay in the town that the YMCA of the Rockies is in. It's Estes Park, Colorado, but not to stay there because we just didn't even know about it. So we took a drive through on our first day in Estes Park and fell madly in love. And so then I did all the things, and surprisingly, it was a lot of things to get a reservation for the rest of our stay there. And what I want you to know, and we had a magical time, like absolutely magical. It was the place we were supposed to be for that week. And I tell you all that because that magic wouldn't have happened if we hadn't left ourselves open to the possibility of magic and allowing magic in. And why do I bring this up? Well, I want you to plan your events. I want you to plan all the moments of your event. I want you to have an agenda that says breakfast is during this window, and session 1 is during this window, and there's a break in this window, and it's going to be for this many minutes. And then we're going to do this topic, and we're going to spend the first third of that session talking about it, and then the second third we're going to do it workshopping it in small groups, and then we're going to spend the last third like coming back and reporting out. I want you to have that level of detail about every moment of every day of your event. And I want you to leave room for magic. And what that means is I want you to have padded things sufficiently. I don't want you to have everything so tight that it doesn't leave room for you to read the room and change things up if need be, or add something in, take something out so that there's space. I want you to be able to have that flexibility. And so what that means is you have to have an agenda that is not so tight. You know that there's extra time built in. You know that there's an extra 5 minutes here, an extra 10 minutes there. you just know that there's time for expansion. Okay? That's step one. I see that as a mistake so often, is that people try to slam way too much into an agenda and it just doesn't have room to breathe. Okay? So that's step one. Step two is you and your team mentally having the mindset that you are open to magic, that you are open to serendipity, to the universe showing you something during the event, and you're open to receiving and you are open to changing course slightly to adjust to what the room needs. And I don't know what that's going to be for you. And you might not even know until it comes up either. But you need to be open to it, in my opinion. Okay? So, first, breathing room. Second, be open. Because when people co-create something, they are so much more married to the result. You know this, right? You've seen that in your courses, in your masterminds. People love to co-create. And so in your event, you're leaving space for that. Okay? And you may even plan space for co-creation. You may even say, hey, I've got 3 topics that I am prepared to present on in this next hour. Which one, show of hands, feels like where we need to go next? Based on all the experiences that we've had together leading up to this moment in the event, where does it feel like we need to go next? You can even leave room for magic in that way. It's like almost like planning for it, right? So I want you to keep those 2 things in mind. You're leaving breathing room in your agenda, and you're allowing yourself to be open to the possibility of magic. Okay? And I think that those 2 things, if you remember those during the planning for your next event, it'll bring you more joy. It'll bring you more excitement. It'll bring your guests a greater feeling of inclusiveness in the process and feel a sense of feeling heard. And I know that you and I both want all of that for your team and for your community who's at the event. Yeah? I hope this little mini episode served you today. I just know that this philosophy in my planning of events for over 20 years now, and then also planning experiences for my family, has served us so well. And I'd love for you to try it on during the planning for your next event. I'm cheering you on from Portland. Take care. Thank you for listening to the Green Room Central podcast. If you loved this episode, then please take a screenshot on your phone and post it to Instagram. And be sure to tag @SarahPfeiffer and let me know why you liked it and what you'd like to hear or who you'd like to hear from in the future. That'll help me know what to create for you. Also, if it's on your heart to host your first or next event in 2022 or 2023 and you need a jumpstart, let's connect for a strategy session. Just go to greenroomcentral.com. In a 2-hour intensive private session, I can help you pivot, scale, or start your event vision from scratch. Together, we will build an actionable plan so that you feel confident and clear on your next steps. Go to greenroomcentral.com right now to sign up. This podcast is built on Kajabi. I loved how easy it was to get things set up, but more so, I'm thrilled that my entire business is run within one platform. From emails to pages to courses and my podcast too, it's all under one roof. If you love simplicity and scalability as much as I do, then go to greenroomcentral.com to get a free 14-day trial from Kajabi. I appreciate your commitment to leveling up and learning the mindset and strategy of live events. Keep going. Keep learning. If you want more, head over to greenroomcentral.com for show notes and all the links from today's episode.